All right, everyone, we are back. The latest episode of our podcast with none other than Big Bear over here,
Big Bear. Yes, most definitely.
back from his hiatus.
Yes, I'm back, raring to go. We have exciting times, Gabe. I don't know if you heard. Little Bunny over here has a listing appointment.
Yeah, and it's his first one that isn't a lay down, so
I
that's nice.
actually had to work for this one.
Mhm.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So, how long you been following up with this guy?
Geez, I think following up, it's almost been a year. A year following
year?
up. Yeah.
How often would you call him?
I'd call him monthly, and then I would try to stay away from we were talking about this in our meeting with Scott the other day. I would try to stay away from the concept of bringing up his home. If he wanted to ask me about his home, I would let him bring it up.
Mm-hmm.
Just try to touch base with him, see how the family was doing. I knew he had kids. He's married. So I'll just ask how the family was. He would, open up to me eventually from that. And then I just kept touching him once a month. And then when he would say, "Oh, we're almost done with the condo," that's when I started calling him weekly. Then once I started calling him weekly, he was like, "Oh, this needs to be done. That needs to be done." And then that's when I asked him, "Hey, you know what? Just to get a better understanding of what the property looks like inside out, would we be able to set up an appointment to go see the property?" And that was last Tuesday or Thursday.
That was last
Thursday?
Thursday. Yeah.
So we went, did that. Everything looked fantastic in there. All the work was done well. And then we came back Thursday. I called him Friday and then set up the appointment for today at 2:00.
Got you. And after you guys were done, Gabe, I was like, "Gabe, how'd it go?" Gabe texted me, saying that he did good. He didn't have bubble guts, right? He was.
It went well.
confident.
It went well.
It's good. So, continuing doing that follow up, doing it once a month and change it to once a week is when you see
Progression. Yeah.
progression. It's good. Did you learn anything in that? Because I know this is your first sales job. Did you learn anything in that?
Just being persistent and staying on top of him. Because, if I say I would have missed, he wouldn't answer all the time, but he knew I was calling
a
him.
voicemail.
I'll always leave a voicemail.
A text message or voicemail?
I would do both.
Okay.
So I'd send him a text, "Hey, no need to call me back unless there's an issue or you have any questions for me."
Right.
And then in that voicemail, I'll just ask him how he was doing. I hope he's doing well.
Uh-huh.
And I even sent him a CMA, recorded myself, talked him through the CMA. So he kind of knows what to expect for the listing appointment today. And he watched that all the way through. I can log his watch time.
So you did a CMA, did you do a green screen on it? Or
So we just pulled it up on the bottom of the screen. So it's kind of like a green screen, but it was more, you could see me, the background, but it was just here at the bottom of the screen.
Okay. Got it. And then he got that email.
Yeah, he got that email, opened it. Took him a while before he watched it. I think he watched it maybe before bed or something. Watched it all the way through, and then I called him the next day. He was like, "Oh yeah, everything looked good. I didn't kind of know what to expect." And then we'll go from the appointment today.
Okay. Got you. And did he say, you mentioned this to me, that other agents would contact him, but there was no follow-up?
Yeah, he told Gabe was there when he said this. He was like, "Yeah, I get these emails from other agents showing me what my home could be worth. But, Adrien was calling me like he knew me. Like he was like one of my friends. So, I'm going to interview him, obviously, over these other agents." So that really shows the connection, I would say, the connection we built just over the phone. Never really meeting in person, face to face.
So it's one thing, you hear me preaching about it, talking about follow up, but we actually really go through it.
Oh yeah, it's real. It's real. Yeah,
100%. Totally real. Got you. Gabe, what's going on with you? You got a closing coming up with the seller. Kind of share that experience, how that was, because there was a point there you thought this deal was going to cancel, and what happened?
Right. So first client I ever worked with a few years back, bought a home, La Rochelle, Saugus, California. Hit me up after follow-up every single month, and then him never picking up the call, ever picking up the call or ever responding with a text message. One day he finally calls me. When did I say that was? Right after Thanksgiving or something like that? Or
I think it was around Christmas.
was around Christmas.
It was in the.
It was a Christmas, yeah.
Holiday.
So it was like a week or two, maybe a week after I called him. He texted me. He said, "Hey Gabe, we're thinking about selling the property. Can we schedule time to talk?" I know you love it when you get those text messages.
Yeah.
Those are the best text messages ever as far as being an agent and knowing that you built rapport with your clients, right? Instead of just being, ghosting them, right? Never talking to them again, not treating it like a number or a transaction, actually treating it like a relationship.
Right.
So yeah, we put it on the home of the market because we built rapport. He trusted me. I put the property at what I believe the property should be listed at, not what it's worth, right? So putting it slightly below market value. I thought market value would have been anywhere from 720 to 740. 740 would be pushing it for me. Opened escrow up 750. Very strong offer. And this buyer that came, we had 30 people show up the first day of the open house, 18 the second day. We went into escrow Thursday or Friday right after that. So we didn't even get a week on the market before, we entered escrow, which is always nice. It's how you price a property accordingly.
Yeah.
This buyer, the reason why I chose them is because they seemed like the strongest one, even though they had a large contingency with them having to close on their property. Right. I thought, hey, you know what? Because what was the verbiage he used? They were like 2 weeks out or something like that, a couple weeks out from closing with their property and moving out. So I liked that contingency for us because I felt that if they moved out of their home, they wouldn't want to start this process all over again. Right. They would be tied to us. I had some pretty strong motivation. I know if I'm buying a home and I have no place to stay and I'm in escrow, I don't want to cancel escrow. Right. I want to, you know what? I want to get this over with, whatever. Let's just close the deal. So request for repairs came back in escrow. We had big HVAC issue with the asbestos, the wrapping around the ducts, right? I guess the seal's broken, so it was exposed, pushing asbestos out, right? It's an $18,000 job. They quoted us. We got some other guy to go out there and quote. We were disagreeing on what we were going to settle on the request for repairs. They wanted a $25,000 price reduction. That's obviously not, chump change. That's a lot of money. And my seller wasn't comfortable with that. I knew that the most he'd be comfortable giving up is $10K. So, going back and forth with the agent, basically, negotiating. We settled on $10K credit. That agent was going to pay for the electrical, and I paid for the termite Section 1 clearance. So $10K credit.
How much was the termite?
$1,400. Electrical was $1,800, right?
Okay.
Just some loose wiring around the house, replace the GFC outlets around the kitchen and bathrooms.
You're nice. You're nice, by the way.
I am. I know I am.
Nice.
Well, this is what I figured too. I'm going to be helping him buy too. So I'm like, it is what it is. Right? So
I'm anal.
I know you are.
It's funny. Hold that thought, because I got someone at the same time asked me to pay for split the termite with her because her buyer's on a first income. Split the termite with her out of my commission, get the deal closed.
No.
I said no. I said no.
Yeah.
I was like really abrupt. No.
I hear you.
So she paid for it herself?
However they did it. Well, actually, she paid half and then my seller paid half.
Yeah.
It's just my rule. Because we work so hard.
Correct.
People just see the finished product, but it's the work. It's the work that you do
to earn that client in the first place.
To earn that client and then go through this journey with them on selling or purchasing that people don't see.
No, not at all.
People don't see that.
They think we just put and for the most part, they are right. We put a sign out, we put on MLS. Every agent does that,
Understood.
But the determining factor between like a good agent and everyone else, or a great agent and everyone else, is someone constantly putting the work to earn the client's trust, build relationships. Right. And that takes years and years of building up that book, that book of business, right? That's what people don't see. They just see, like you said, the end product.
Right.
the countless open houses, the countless doors knocked, the countless phone calls made. Because what you've made, I guarantee you've made over what, 10,
I
20,
made a lot.
30,000
I
phone
made
calls. In your,
quite a bit. Quite a bit.
yeah. But anyways, back to the escrow. I remember you telling me something about don't wait to put it back on the market. See what you can do to get the seller to accept whatever. You never know if they'll ever want to sell again. I was like, okay, strike while the iron's hot and help them buy. So I just rationalized myself.
Well, the seller told you something. He goes, okay, if this deal cancels, I want to hold off.
Correct.
And that's when I told you it's now or never. Look
Yeah.
at it that way.
Yeah, he said he wanted to hold off to the end of the year. So I was like, all right, whatever. Strike while it's hot. I'll cover the termite. He'll cover the electrical,
Good.
and then sit on 10K credit. And still got value. And we're starting to shop for homes. We're submitting offers.
I see.
Yeah, it's a learning experience. I never dealt with that before, and I'm probably gonna hopefully open up escrow here with that contingency as well.
This week?
No, I mean just saying hopefully.
Yeah.
And
You laid out a few.
we put it now 4.
So he's there. That's motivation.
Let you know how crazy the market is right now. So we went last Thursday to go look at property, and it was Thursday when I wasn't able to make it. Yeah. So yeah, last Thursday I go to check out property in the morning, and homes listed at, I believe they were at $800,000, like $799.
Mhm.
We submitted an offer. Values are at like I think 860, right? And I just got some backup. Hey, you know what? Do you think we could get 870 for this in terms of value? He says I think that we're pushing it, but it might be able to get done. So I said, all right, well let's just go in at 880. I thought that was a strong offer. Removed appraisal contingency, right? I thought we were in the clear. I guess they got offers up to like low 9s. So list price 800, value's probably 860, right? Maybe pushing 870. They got offers for above $900,000. They let you know how crazy the market is. $110,000, $120,000.
Well, we could bring that back to Downey.
That's crazy.
At $699, accepted an offer at $800.
Yeah. So I don't care what anyone says right now on it not being a strong market for sellers. If you have a home on the market, there's such little inventory. As long as it's move-in ready and it's not deteriorated to the fact where you replace the roof or you got some crazy issues that are going to cost you $20,000, $30,000, you could sell a property well above its appraised value, its market value.
At current times.
Yes. Who knows how long this is going to last?
Right. All right. I'm going to switch topics here. This is one thing that I've been really thinking about that I have been, and I spoke to you about it. I haven't spoke to you about it is the future for real estate agents and where things are trending. I mean, this is what I think, and you guys can chime in, is I think that as time goes on, I see prices increase for the houses, right?
Correct.
I see prices increase. I see other fees increase, insurance and so forth. And I see the commission decreasing.
Correct.
Didn't you see a listing that was 1.5%?
Yeah, for the buyer side. That is crazy. You kidding me? Why would I submit an offer on a property like that?
Correct. And I think listing agents and sellers are shooting themselves in the foot. Because if I'm a buyer's agent, I got 2 properties here. There's one, they're paying me 1.5%, 2%. Well, guess what? If it was up to me, I'm going to push the 2%.
Correct.
That's just the reality. The trend is commission's going down, but all other fees are going up.
Yep.
I think there's a good possibility that the real estate agent might be automated. What I mean by that is they're going to have AI.
Yeah.
I can see that happening. My point to you is there's something AI is not going to do, and I'm going to tell you that right now. AI can't negotiate like I negotiate. I'm not trying to say I'm the best marketer. I'm not saying that. But there's one thing I know my lane is I know my value, and my value in negotiating, I believe, is second to none. And that's what I enjoy doing. That's what I love doing. And I really think as a real estate agent, you have to, more than anything else, once this comes out the option of, hey, I can only pay this amount and go on this platform and list my property, whatever the case, whatever that looks like. What is your value to the client? Truly, don't say you're the best marketer, because all that is indicative of the price of your property.
Yeah. 90% of it is, yeah.
Absolutely.
Correct.
So what value can you bring to the table that I know, and I'll tell you this, AI can't negotiate like I can negotiate. I know that for a fact. I can read the other party. That's what I do. And that's my value, that's my value proposition to my clients.
Yeah.
Regardless, like, hey, you're going to get someone that's going to treat your property like his own, probably even better. What do you see for the future of real estate and potentially going AI? Now, why I say this is because I was either going to be a real estate broker or stockbroker. I chose real estate broker. Stockbrokers don't exist no more. Very few in between. As you said, I use Robinhood, you use something else, and no one uses a stockbroker. So seeing how things are trending, and we go hand in hand with the lender too. Yeah. That would be automated also. So what do you think on that? I know I'm chopping it up a little bit, but question is do you see it trending that way? And what is your value that you bring to the table that AI can't? I told you mine. What is yours? And
what question you want me to answer first?
Answer the one if you see
where I see real estate going.
Where I see real estate going, you see it. Where do you think it's?
I think we're already seeing the branches diverge on where it's heading. We're obviously seeing. I think us being commission based, that's probably gonna be the first pillar to fall. Is us being commission based, because the AI, like you said, is not going to be able to do everything immediately. No. So what's going to happen, I believe, is what Redfin's doing. People are on salary, you have showing agents, then you have your listing agents who paid a higher salary, and many people in between, many people that are writing up the offers for you, so you could handle more volume,
right? So
that you're not just stuck day to day doing a bunch of paperwork that you can't ever finish. Because I know you probably felt that way a few times when you have a bunch of listing, you have a bunch of paperwork. You can't do it all by yourself. You can't. No. You have to be able to, what's the word I'm thinking of? Delegate those things out. Number two is we're seeing Open Door. Open Door is doing it. You download the app, you request a showing. Buyers could do it themselves. A buyer can do it themselves and request a showing through Open Door, right? They don't even have contact with an agent. They can submit an offer through the app. So what I think is going to happen in touching on, I'll touch on the stockbroker part, is you're going to have phases on price points. I think when you have these premium properties, these $1 million properties, these luxury properties, there's always going to be a room for an agent, because the people that do business over and over and over again, like your clients that have multiple deals, they're not going to trust this to an AI, to a Redfin agent that's being paid salary. They're going to want the best of the best. They want someone that's paid off commission, because the best of the best are going to be paid off commission. That's always going to be the thing. The same thing when you see your stockbrokers, people that aren't willing to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars at a single time, we're using Robinhood, right? Stockbrokers are dealing with people that are investing $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 at a time, $100,000 at a time, right?
Yeah, it's almost a liability there.
Exactly, right? So that's where I think AI is going to come in Open Door. Those type of things are going to come in for these lower price, the primary homes, the lower price points that the average American can afford. But as soon as you start getting into those luxury numbers, those multi-million-dollar homes, there's always going to be an agent involved. That's my belief. You're never going to be able to phase out some of these commission-based agents when they have all the leverage in the market, right? So on the second part, what value are providing, this is a super generic question, but because it has to be.
You can't just say because you're good looking. Yeah. I don't know if would that work?
Yeah.
Because he's tall.
I'm in the best shape out of any agent in the planet. How about that?
You're a peak performer.
I think whatever industry you're in, you're always in the people industry. You always, even if you're in tech, you want to get the most out of the people around you. What is that? Negotiation, communication skills. right? That's all these books that we read that I referred to, all these people that I listen to, podcasts that I listen to. It's all based on how to communicate more efficiently, negotiating tactics, in the art of the deal, right? That's the value that will always be irreplaceable, because that's what human beings are. That's one of our defining characteristics, is being able to communicate with each other, lead individuals, and influence people. That is something that is no other being that we know of, right? We have proof of, has that capability. No animal on this planet besides us to be able to influence others,
Right.
communicate, negotiate, those sorts of things, right? That's a skill that's never going to go out of phase. Even if the world is crumbling around us and we're in a bunch of raider outfits, and we're like living like Mad Max, the people who are going to be the
Are
survivors.
you talking about Raider fans?
Yeah.
Raider
this
Nation.
guy.
Are you talking about Raider Nation?
Yeah, Raider Nation. Those are the people that are going to survive. Yeah. The people that are going to survive are the ones that know how to influence other people that know how to build a flock and a community that are all going to move towards one goal. And that's what we're doing as real estate agents. We're communicating with our clients, trying to understand what they want, right? Because if we don't know what they want, a lot of agents get it wrong. They're like, you got to ask better questions. You got to ask better questions. No, we have to understand what they want, right? We got to get to why they're moving, how that helps them, and how we could play a role into that facet, right? That's what I like, is being able to find where I can fit myself in, how I can be guaranteed, how I can be guaranteed to be involved in projects that are important to people's lives, right? That's what I like. So to understand how you fit into that equation with their real estate needs, with negotiating, that's communication. That's where the value is always going to be.
And I hope that, through this experience working, with me, the team, how it grows, is communication is everything. It's how you communicate as an individual.
Yeah.
For me, is when COVID hit, thought it was the worst thing ever. And all I was doing was calling people, hey, how are you? How's the family? And I had the best year I've ever had, just by having that other person on the line that AI is never going to be able to do. Is like, hey, how you doing? How's that human to human communication?
We know a robot doesn't care about us.
Don't care. So understanding that there's always going to be a place for that.
Yeah. And we make it harder than it is, right? Most of the time, it's so much more simpler. Do what you know you should do, even though you don't want to do it, right? Have that difficult conversation. When I was having the conversation about potentially canceling escrow, I didn't want to freaking call the other agent or call my client like, man, I'm being the bearer of bad news. I want to make this work. I don't want to give out bad news, but by continually giving out the bad news, I was able to find a solution, and now we're making it all work.
And I didn't want to tell you what to do, but I wanted to give you a scenario like it's ready to go now.
Yeah.
Just, you have it hot, just figure it out. And I think sometimes, and why I'm saying this to go along with this is AI really going to be able to figure things out? There's some things that are irreplaceable, but you're also going to have the other side of the coin that people are going to just look at the bottom line. Oh, this is what this individual is charging me. Oh, this is what.
Correct.
This is what it is. And I've had Redfin agents show my properties. They're just getting a showing fee. That's all they're getting.
Yeah.
So all they're getting is a showing fee, right? Showing fee. And what type of effort are you going to get from that individual? I just don't see it. I don't see it, but I know there's going to be a place for it, because people are going to be just looking at how much money they can save and not understanding the big pictures. Like, if I get the right person, regardless of what I pay in commission, what's the most important thing to me at the end of the day is what I net at the close of escrow.
Yeah. You know what's funny is how people always point that as a negative. Oh, all you care about is getting paid at the close of escrow. Don't you want your agent to have some sort of positive outcome for the deal going through? If you don't close on your home, we don't get paid. A commission-based agent or an AI, they don't care if the deal closes because they have no incentive. So why is that a bad thing that we are getting paid at the end? Like, that makes no sense. You want people to have incentive to do something. Right. Otherwise, why do it?
Right.
A Redfin agent don't care. They just care about how many, it doesn't matter how many homes I show, I'm still going to get paid the same amount. Doesn't matter how many homes I list, I'm still going to get paid the same amount. I don't care
Right.
whether it goes through
Right.
or not.
And I'm not bashing Redfin agents because I've done business
we're going
with
farm.
I've done business with Redfin agents. They have
Great.
top-notch agents and they're 100% commission-based. But when I deal with someone that's on it, there's no service there. There's no, it's completely night and day. So it's nothing derogatory towards Redfin. It's just when you pay an agent for a showing fee, whatever, there's no incentive. You're right. There's no incentive, to push the narrative. So what do you think about what we talked about over here?
So in terms of where real estate's going, I haven't been in the business very long, but I am on the younger side, and I do use AI a little, and I see
All your homework for class, Chat GPT.
Chat GPT, please. GPT.
Chat GPT, give me the answer for this.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, GPT for homework because it's not right.
It's plagiarism.
Plagiarism. Yep. Get kicked out of school for that. But in terms of using it to our advantage, I think that could be, in a sense, helpful.
Which we do.
Yeah.
We help with a lot of our prompts.
Yeah, everybody does. It could, in terms of like a drip campaign, you type in the Chat GPT, create a drip campaign for a buyer. It'll give you like a 10.
Yeah.
10
I didn't know it could do that one.
It's not very specific, but you can do
You
it.
could change it, make it your own.
What we've been doing is writing our own and then like putting in Chat GPT to help us like word it better.
That's what I do is I don't want to get off tangent here. I do use AI Chat GPT on my description. I don't think out of the box.
Your hands.
I don't think out of the box. And then I just type and mine sounds like crap. But when I put it on Chat GPT, it sounds it's a beautiful melody.
Yeah. So in terms of that, I think it could be helpful. But in terms of, like you guys said, building that relationship, that connection with buyer or seller, it's not going to do that. When I first started working with you guys, what did I do? I sat in the office, listened to every conversation you had, and listened to every conversation you had. Mm-hmm. And when Mark was following up, Gabe was making those calls, I was like, wow, people really love Mark and Gabe. And it's because of that connection. AI is not going to be able to do that. Like me building the rapport with this seller over here in Long Beach, AI is not going to follow up with him every month, ask him how he's doing, how his family's doing.
Yes.
They're not going to care about that. What they're going to care about is getting that business, not so much being emotionally tied to it, because, we try to stay out of that emotionally tied, but building that connection, relationship, and being of service to the buyer, if that makes sense.
Right. And those skills, when you're learning how to deliver the bad information to a client or get them to see something that they maybe not be seeing, but not being so abrupt with it. That was my issue when I first started, was being too abrupt, just saying what I wanted to say so they could hear it. But when you say things that you're not conveying them how they should be to get them across, to get someone to see your other point of view. And that's what these communication skills and these negotiation skills, that's what they really are. It's not like we're manipulating people. What we're doing is we're wording things in a certain way and with special tones of voice, lowering your voice, knowing when to slow down, so that you get someone to invoke thought, so that they can not be in a place of defense, thinking that someone's going to sell them something, but getting them to understand that this person really does have my best interest. Maybe I should listen to what they say. Mm-hmm. And we could build trust so we have a working relationship that could get me what I want as the buyer or seller. Because that's all that matters at the end of the day. I get what I want, right? And then this person's able to help me. So these negotiating skills, communication skills help us portray the knowledge and experience that we have in the industry so that our buyers or our clients could see it in a different viewpoint they may not be seeing that's actually better for them at the end of the road. Right. There is bad agents out there that just want to manipulate people. But this also goes, if you're a buyer thinking that, it doesn't matter, I'm not selling my property, I don't need a good negotiator. You do, because these are the exact techniques we use on other agents too to get your offer accepted. Right. Being able to build trust with an agent, knowing that, hey, we're going to get this thing done regardless. We may not be at the highest offer, but we can guarantee to get this thing closed, and we will make this as easy for you and your client.
And it does go back to those salary workers that only work 9 to 5. Like you see, we're making phone calls after 5, doing things that we need to do in order to get our our buyer or seller the best deal possible.
Correct.
And that, we're not doing that because we want the commission. We're doing it because we care and we want them to get the best deal possible.
Yeah, completely. And you've heard me say this, knock on wood, hasn't happened, but if I make a mistake during a transaction, I own it. And if that means I make triple zeros on that transaction, then so be it. Because what's ultimately most important to me is not what I make, but the service I provide, if that makes sense.
Well, you're questioning yourself. What type of man do you want to be that shows up for your clients?
Correct.
Are you a person of integrity, or are you someone that is just chasing pennies?
Correct. And I've said this many times is and I used to be this way. I used to always think about money. I got to make money. I always thought about it and it eluded me. Now I really don't think about it. And I think the universe repays you on that when you really don't think about it, because it'll come back to you. And that's how I think about it. Okay, if this deal I may, just say hypothetically speaking, I make a mistake, whatever the case might be. I don't make any mistake or not. Just say I look at it like, you know what? I did a stand-up job. I'm going to, make it back in other ways. And I think that's how the universe, repays us.
Right.
And never losing your integrity and so forth. So good. That was a good topic. Next topic is,
should we bring some stats into this?
Go ahead. I'm not a stat man, but
I know
the stats.
This is pretty stark.
Go ahead.
So if you have a lot of hope, I got some hope for you at the end, but let's start with bad news first. So the income to comfortably afford a typical home, a Zillow article, to comfortably afford a typical home, a buyer needs to earn more than $106,000 per year, 80% more than they needed in 2020. So right before the pandemic. That's how much home prices have increased with wages not increasing at the same rate. 80% more than they needed in 2020. In 2020, it took an average of $59,000 a year, less than 30% of their income with 10% down, right? That's, the safe numbers. That's what you consider comfortable payments. Now, since we're in Los Angeles, I have the Los Angeles numbers here. The average Los Angeles household income has to be $279,000 to earn the average home in Los Angeles. I don't know about you guys, but I don't know too many people walk on the street that have a combined income of that. So how do we get around this? Obviously bearing the bad news without solutions is not going to help anyone out there. So ways we can get around this: loans or gifts from families or from family members or friends. You have to rely on our family at all times, right? That's where we have family. That's where we have these communities that we like to be part of, relying upon people to help us out, to get us someplace where we want to be, we're not currently at now. House hacking, right? I know Big Surge was big on that. Buy a home, rent out the rooms. I know you may not want roommates right now, but hey, they're helping you pay down your
Surge
mortgage.
was renting his couch at one time.
Well, no, get this. He was, what do you have, a 3-bedroom house, right? Rented out each room, and then he was staying on the couch.
Yeah, but I know at one time
he was renting off the couch too, but that's crazy. You don't have to go that extreme, right? I'm not saying you have to go that extreme, but in order to get you in a home, because your income is going to increase over your lifespan, majority of us, and that's the end game, right? Is to lock in our housing costs. That's what a 30-year fixed mortgage does. That is what makes America the dream of home buying. Other places don't have a 30-year fixed mortgage where you pay the same amount every single month for 30 freaking years. That is such a blessing that our government offers us, or this country offers us, right? So as long as you get into that home, and you may not be able to afford it right now just off of your income. If you could rely on house hacking, renting out rooms to make it cheaper for you, sustainable, while your income slowly rises, it's going to be a good investment over the long run, for sure. And another thing, co-buying, right? Co-buying with a family member, friend, things of that. And I think that people should stop trying to time the market. Hear people, I want to make sure the rates are this, the rates are that. Let's focus on your payment. If you could comfortably afford a home, Let's get you into a home because home prices, they thought it was going to go down the pandemic. They thought they were going to go down last year. And we're just trending up. We keep trending up over the long haul.
Did you say trend?
Yeah. Marco trend.
You said trend. Okay.
Marco trend.
Just want to did you hear trend?
I heard trend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Take it
So stop trying to time the market. A blackjack, player doesn't go into playing blackjack based off other people's hands and trying to time. They get into the game. You know what winners do at blackjack
They
tables?
mix up the cards a little.
Yeah,
Small bet
cards.
first.
They count the cards. Do you know what blackjack winners do? They leave when they're up. That's what makes a winner. They leave when they're up. So when you can afford a home, when you can get in the market, whatever, however that may be, with house hacking, whatever, and as long as you have a home at the end of the day, 30 years from now, you pay off that mortgage, you're a winner. So what are you judging yourself? Are you judging yourself based off months, years, or are you judging ourselves based off decades?
And that goes to the point of making a lot of money, just say hypothetically making a lot of money now and being rich, rather than owning a lot of property and being wealthy.
Correct.
Two different things. One is you can pass on to the next generation. The other one is you have to be present.
Yeah. You're in escrow right now for another rental property.
Correct. I still got to teach. I understand that. And I'm really, it's funny. My son just called me. I was like, and I'm buying this property. He's like, man, I really, as a father, you say, okay, if I go, he's going to inherit things, but he doesn't know what to do.
Right. That's a recipe for disaster.
Correct. And I paid all the dues for it, meaning I did the sweat, the tears, and it's my duty. And I don't get on fatherhood, but it's about real estate, is building generation wealth. So it's my job is teach him this learned behavior, which I haven't done. He's doing college out of state, but he needs to get here because I have to show him.
Correct.
And I've listed many properties and people inherited or however that works, and it's a huge disaster.
Yep.
Because they haven't learned that. It's all learned behavior.
Yeah.
It's all learned.
A lot of mistakes going into that too.
I made them all. Definitely. So how do you want to chime in on all this?
That's funny because I actually have that right here in my
Same article?
Yeah, same article.
Where's it from? Zillow?
Yeah, it's from Zillow, broke agent. And I was just reading through it. Some of these other places over here are insane. Like, I don't want to, we're in Los Angeles, obviously, but San Jose's number one.
Yeah.
454,000 combined income.
It's crazy.
That is insane.
Do you guys want to move to San Jose?
It's beautiful. I like San
It's
Jose.
right next to Silicon Valley, right?
It's nice out there. But yeah, I mean, for that price point now.
San Jose? No.
Yeah, but I think ways to do it are exactly what he mentioned. I think the best way to possibly do it is house hacking. I don't know if my family or friends would let me a loan or a down payment.
I'll talk to your dad.
Yeah.
Let's do it, Dad. If you're watching this, let's go.
But
yeah, even if you get a loan from your friends or family for a down payment, you get into a house hacking, pay them back, pay the mortgage. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Converting a garage to an ADU, things like that.
You're absolutely right. And I'm going to tell you the way it is. In the state of California, being a landlord, we're losing so much with the laws that are in place to tenants. There's always going to be a way to make money. You just got to be creative. That's what I tell everyone. Oh, I can't buy in California. I'm going to have to buy out of state. It just, everything is against us. There's the renter's rights. It's like the pendulum. The pendulum is way over here with the tenant, but there's ways you can play the system.
Where did I see this? I saw this story, obviously on Instagram, one of the investor pages I follow. This is crazy. This is brilliant. They have an Airbnb, right? Their HOA says there's no Airbnbs allowed unless, you can't have these Airbnb guests or whatever,
Right?
Unless you have like 0.1% of ownership of the property, right? So their contract on Airbnb makes them a 0.1% owner of the property,
Oh,
and it
Airbnb.
ends when their term ends on their stay. That's how they got around the HOA thing, and they like, hey,
Creative.
we're playing by your rules.
Well, do you think the people that go into the Airbnb know that they're signing off on that?
I'm sure that they're aware. They probably go into the description. They probably lay it out. Hey, this is what we have to do to get you in there. But that's something like that. That is so creative, right?
Right.
Brilliant idea.
And in the state of California, you have to be creative, especially if you're on the real estate side, because everything is just overvalued.
Correct.
And on the residential part, as I said, the pendulum is completely with the tenants. And eventually that is going to switch because of earlier pendulum was on the landlords. It goes back and forth. It just needs to be, hopefully in the middle. A lot of people think that the pendulum's not going to go in the middle. It's always going to stay towards the tenant. But I'm optimistic that it will eventually, just like anything else.
When it goes up, it just come down, So everything is cyclical.
How should I say? Because there's a property manager that comes in here once in a while to visit Scott. I always pick his brain. And I was asking him, are you going to buy anything in LA County? He's like, no. And I always ask him, how's the Inland Empire? He's like, out of the areas, it's, more landlord friendly and so forth. So just got to be creative. Just like anything else. And I'm going to tell you this, you guys already know this, is when they, increase taxes, who does it affect?
The working class, though.
The working class, the W-2s. Absolutely right. Yeah. Because the other side knows how to get around it. And that's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
Actually, I spoke to your dad. And he was complaining about taxes or something like that. I was like, are you W-2? He's like, yeah. He goes, yeah. I said, yeah, you pay majority of the taxes. That is correct.
Yep.
So real quick, what's going on with you personally, Gabe? I know you just did a Spartan race. You finished pretty good, I should say, pretty good. What do you got going on? What are your next endeavors personally?
Endeavors. I want to do another BJJ competition up here in April, Orange County. It's in Irvine. I've been every single competition I've done for the past year and a half. I placed either second or third, but the gold has been eluding me.
Eluding you.
It's been eluding me, and I don't like it. But hopefully compete. April, get a couple more competitions this year. I think a lot of the time I've operated out of fear, of how I'm perceived. I don't want to be a loser, right? I don't want to embarrass myself. But hey, this is a great quote, and it's from Yellowstone. Super corny. I just started watching the show, so there's a point where the question gets asked: how do you operate? Do you operate out of how people perceive you? Right? Is that the question you're asking you, or what type of man you want to be? All right. And I think there's few and few more people out there that ask themselves the question, what type of person I want to be in this world, the quality, integrity, honor. And instead they ask themselves, how am I perceived? How am I looked at by other people? How do people look at me? What do they think of me? And that's where you get yourself in trouble. All right. So what that relates to this is, I want to do more competitions. I never thought a Spartan race would be for me just because I'm like, it's just a race. That was honestly probably the hardest thing I've done. That was tougher than any of my fights in college. That was tougher than any of my BJJ matches because it was longer, right? I couldn't walk for 5 days right after.
Right.
I was just limping around. It was hard to get out of it was so hard to get out of bed in the morning.
But you got competitive with those too. You see people next to you. Oh, I got to pass this dude.
Yeah, I passed up multiple people, right? I finished 54th out of just under 6,000 people. So the top 1 percentile. And I didn't run for it at all. I was running for a little bit, and then my knee started hurting. I'm like, I'm not going to stop doing jiu-jitsu for this competition, And I'm not going to take on running. But if I took on running, I probably could have shaved off in a few mistakes in the race, 5 to, a little bit over 5 minutes probably, and finished even higher. That's pretty impressive. But I want to do more things like that challenge myself outside of work, because that's what life's all about, being able to do fun things that challenge you, that make you a little scared because when they were like talking to us before the race went off, I'm like, wow, I'm actually nervous for this. I didn't think I'd be nervous for this. I'm like, this is just a race. Why am I nervous for something I really don't take seriously?
Right.
But it's because I want, when anything I do, I want to be really good at. So I don't want to look like a fool, right? But I'm like, let's just finish.
Is it about how people perceive you?
Exactly, right? But the question you should be asking is, what type of person are you? And the type of person that I want to be is someone that just shows up and does it, regardless of how they feel, right? That's the type of person that I've always tried to be. But you have to ask that question yourself more often. So I want to do more things like that, more things like that scare me, right? That give me bubble guts,
Right.
like listing appointments. Listing appointments give me bubble guts still, right? So things like that will teach me to try to learn how to be comfortable in those feelings and in high stress situations. Because if you're not doing stuff like that, if you're just going out and partying on the weekends, and how is that, at the end of your life, how is that something that you could be proud of? Really? You had this many beers and went to this many bars. What's exciting about that? Athletic things are, things that like you could talk about for
Right.
forever.
Right.
Those are impressive.
Yeah, that's good. So you got the competition in April. You're going to do another Spartan race after that.
Yeah.
I always felt like in life, you gotta have, and it makes me better is when I really have to work for something than just meandering around and not really having a purpose. For me, it's a purpose.
Right. Outside of work.
Outside of work. No. Yeah, outside of work. Is having that purpose and having a goal and really just like pinpointing that goal. And when you really get everything going towards that goal that you put personally, it's also going to go over in your personal life, how you are to other people, your business. It's just everything rather than just, I'm just going to just work and drink beer on the weekend or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally. And I'm going to go to you, but I got to say something is, I'm actually, training for a couple shows this year. And I didn't share this with anybody, not even Elena. I'm going to share it with you guys.
Oh, he's gonna admit to taking Trent right now.
No, no Trent. Is when we were, men, you size up yourself with your competition. We all do it.
Right.
I didn't. So in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm going to smoke all these guys. This is not even close, man. Whatever I was talking to chatter in my head, which is wrong. So this is not to do with my class. This is the open against everyone. This is where all the competition is. And I was like, oh, this is going to be, I'm going to fare well here. And not getting called out. In my head, I was like, what the hell? What the F is this judge thinking? I was just like blaming it on this and blaming it on that when it was me, when it was all me. I got to fucking be better.
Entitled.
Right. And that was the behavior. And I caught myself and I was like, so when they do the top 5 and then everyone else is on the side. Well, my ass was on the side.
Yeah.
I had a frown on my face. My posing sucked. I was like, because I thought I was going to be right there in the middle.
Yeah.
But it taught me a lot about myself. And I take it in stride, like I got to be that much better. But that's a true story. Is I was like, these judges don't know what they're looking at. They have no idea. And I'm this new guy here thinking this when they've been doing it,
Correct.
Entitlement behavior. I catch myself at times with that entitlement behavior. I have to pull myself back.
Yeah, it's like an everyday struggle.
Yeah.
With other things, it's easier to notice, but things like that where it's sometimes you're like, dang, I'm really being entitled right now. I'm being an entitled little bitch.
Yeah.
Straight up.
And you just got to be able to catch yourself. You got to catch yourself and be like, so I took it like I can be that much better. I got to come in better. I got to have a great off season and come in strong and just, I have so much improvement. So I took it that way. But initially, I was blaming it on all the judges.
Yeah.
I was truly in my head, standing there, trying to hold a pose, and I'm like shaking my head, like, what the? And that entitlement behavior. It didn't hit on me until I went backstage. I was like, oh, I can get that much better.
Yep. And then after you do those tough things, win or lose, then those beers or those drinks taste way better. Then that dessert that you shouldn't be having every day that some people do. That's when that's when it makes those sweetness of life, the spice of life. It makes it that much more
enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
makes things more sweeter. It brings out those things. It makes them so much more exhilarating. Way better.
Yeah. So the question is, which I haven't seen, could you beat him in a Spartan race?
No.
Oh, when I ran my Spartan race,
No.
it was a while ago, but
No. That's no.
I think I finished in like 40 something minutes.
Where was that at?
Castaic. It was all.
I did Castaic too. Yeah, I did that. It's different than this.
I don't think they do that one anymore, huh?
Yeah, they do.
Do they?
Do they?
Okay.
I think
it's
yeah, I
different
think
than
that
here,
it's
right?
different than the stadium one, but
Oh yeah, no, it's different.
Okay. So you would give him a run for his money.
All right. We'll see. You gotta sign up for one.
Bigger guys, on the burpees going ground up.
Dude, I
They
can't
did
fuck-
bear crawls. It's very hard for us. And I'm trying to convey that to you. It's really hard for us. He'll tell you too. It's for bigger guys. You're almost 6'4". It's just harder for bigger guys going.
The monkey rings would be harder for you guys.
The bear crawls.
Yeah.
Bear crawls are they're not.
I'll tell you one thing that was really hard is when the bag they have tied up.
pulling that down.
That was like, okay, the bag weighs like as much as me. I was like, oh shit,
See, that
I can't
would be a
stand
big
up.
issue for us.
I had to lay back,
Yeah.
and, like put my heels up on my legs up
But
the fence. And
the one in Castaic, it's mud. So
Yeah.
when you go
Yeah.
through that bag,
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell? Like I couldn't grab onto anything.
Yeah.
I took my shirt off, used my shirt to
Yeah.
start it. And I was like,
One of these times we'll do. All of us will do a Spartan race. I'm no condition right now for that, but definitely.
my parents are going at their gym. They're going out to Vegas in March or late March.
Oh,
They're
really?
doing a 10K.
oh, that's a long one.
So, what goals do you have set forth personally for you?
Personally, for me, I have a friend that I grew up with. I played football with him my whole life. He sent me this video of a marathon through the Grand Canyon, 24 miles, somewhere around there.
Really?
Yeah. It looks
Do
insane.
you like running?
I don't like running, but if
It-
I can run. Like I don't like it, but I can run.
I saw if you got any genetics like your dad, I saw your dad run. We did a workout, me, Nate, your dad. I brought my girl with me. And yeah, he has a good running because now, being with my girl, I see she tells me about running technique
Yeah.
and how someone runs. He runs very fluid. Yeah, very fast too for a big guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did circles around me.
Yeah, he ran a marathon. So like I think it was around COVID time. Lucky, did you do that marathon?
No, I was there supporting him though.
Yeah, that like was shocking. I was like, what the hell? Like just his determination and will to do that without like he barely trained for it too. So I was like, damn.
Yeah.
But yeah, so doing that, I think we're gonna do that maybe May. I think they said May was the best time to do it. That's when the weather's the best.
Have you been training for it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just doing that, but I think I got to lose a couple pounds because running now, my shins.
Gotta run more.
I just got to run
Get
more,
more.
get the shin splints.
Don't use being your size excuse. Nick Bear.
Well, you're going to run.
That dude's a
Obviously, Grand Canyon's desert's going to be hot.
I mean, obviously, yeah. But using my size it's not an excuse, but I know, like me
Hard.
personally, I just got to cut a little weight off, and then I think I'll be good.
Wow,
So that's the next one right there.
yeah.
I enjoy running. There's a piece that you get once you get comfortable with it, and it takes a while. It takes a couple months to get comfortable.
I think once you get past like, because you get a runner's high. Once you get past a certain amount of miles, I say for me it's like 3.
Yeah.
I think I could just coast. As soon as I'm
And it's
coasting, I'm
easy.
good.
And as long as you're like in a good environment, right? Like if you're running along the beach, but you're not always able to run in a good environment, if you're able to zone in and just like listen to the birds while you're running or the cars passing by and you're just almost observing yourself in the run, there is something, it's almost like meditation. That's something that, because I didn't like running with music because it didn't let me do that. when I run without music, I'm able to take in everything around me and my
Become one with
environment.
nature.
And I'm running in Gardena, The only thing that would get me
That's a
off,
hot spot for running. It's a beautiful view.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
the only thing that would get me off from that is when I would have like nasty smells. You're running by like a sewer and you smell like shit.
Or even like the cars driving by. That throws me off.
I was able to like almost like hear it like oceans, like an ocean, an ocean.
Wow.
I like running though, so.
Okay. Well, I had my experience on Sunday. It was, Elena's a runner.
She kicked her
Very good runner.
Kicked her ass.
I ain't gonna compare. She can kick all of her ass. So she's like, "I'll just run with me." I just speed walked, so she just went back and forth, always running. I don't know how many miles she did, but she enjoys it. I can have birds go on my shoulder, hear the waves. I just not into running. I'm just not into running. I prefer the elliptical more than I do any type of running.
It's tough. When I first was doing it when COVID hit.
Really?
That's when
you were doing
got
a lot of running. At one time, you were doing a lot of running.
Yeah. I was running at least like 7 miles a day. And that was, it took me a while to get to that, but I was like, my gym's closed. Like I can't go to jiu-jitsu. So I'm like, what am I going to do that's going to help me with my, to get that sweat? There's nothing like getting your heart rate up and you're gasping for air.
Right.
I love that feeling. It sucks getting to there.
Oh, yeah.
But once you're done with it, after, you're like, you could feel the blood going through your veins and like how oxygenated you feel. You get that high.
I could squat 500 some pounds and feel a certain way. You get me run a mile, I'm going to feel a lot better.
Yeah.
I'm going to feel a hell of a lot worse running than I am going to whatever weight I move.
I think the last time I went for a long run, it was on Figueroa Street, like near my house. I ran 6 miles, and Gabe, you've been to my house, like bottom of the hill right there. There's a gas station. I hit that gas station and I almost died. I could not breathe. I called my sister. My sister had to pick me up. I couldn't walk. I was running 6 miles at an 8:30 pace.
That's too fast.
So I was
Is that too fast?
I was just in my head. Like before I started running, I was like,
Oh, were you going
questioning-
uphill, downhill, or
Both.
was it level?
Yeah.
both uphill,
Okay.
downhill.
It's way too fast.
And I was questioning myself. Like I was like, oh, you get those thoughts. Like you guys are coming back to. So I was like, I'm just gonna do it. So I went, ran, I almost died.
Elite runners are running that for a small portion of their miles. Elite runners, when they're running like a lot of miles, they're trying to stay like at like 9-minute pace.
Speaking
elite
about
runners.
elite runner, let's talk to Lucky.
He's a fighter, dude.
It's a fighter. You're a runner too, though, aren't you? Yeah, I know you did the Ironman. Yeah, that's good. Where were you running a mile at?
I can maintain anywhere around 8:30 or 9.
Hmm.
For Boston, you can get into like 7.
Crazy.
No.
Broke you. There's a body type you see. There's a body type. They're the long,
super slim.
slender, long legs.
They did the Long Beach Marathon in front of my house, and so they had the average Joe run, and then I saw the elite runners, totally different. As you said, they're tall. They all relatively tall, not my height, but they're all relatively tall, lean, and they're so damn fluid.
Yeah.
It's like
No effort being in.
no effort, just fluid. It's like a machine. Just
And they're
fluid.
running fast.
They're running probably my top speed for freaking 25
Yeah, for
miles.
consistently.
Yes. It was a huge, huge difference. I can, and I'm not an experienced runner. I can see the average Joe. Then they came and I was like, well, no, that's different, right? That's way different right there. So,
But when you see a jack dude running marathons consistently, you're like, oh, that's pretty freaking impressive. I don't
impressed.
care
Yes.
what anyone's like. I'm more impressed with that, than him go squat 500 pounds, a couple hours later. Like that's way more impressive to me. The Nick Bears, it's coming though. You're seeing more people. You're seeing more guys do it, which is super cool.
Yeah, all you got to do is take some EPO, some training.
Oh, training.
You'll be there. Yeah.
Right on.
Anything else? Is that it?
We good? Boom.
All right. That wraps up episode 4. Thank you guys for joining us. Mark, Gabe.
Hopefully he has a listing appointment or listing signed.
Next time I talk to you guys,
Yeah.
listing.
He's actually, after this podcast, he's going on a listing appointment. How many hours you got? A few hours, right?
Yeah, a couple hours.
Okay. So let's all wish him luck, and you got this.
Thank you guys. See you guys next time.
Peace.